超次元対戦ネプテューヌ VS セガハードガールズ夢の合体スペシャル。
I told you you're not a hero. You are a tool. You know your purpose. You've known it from the beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen watching this, know that I've been heavily critical of the Neptunia series as of late. Those of you probably also know that I took my birthday and the week surrounding it off to celebrate with my grandparents, as they've been getting up there in age, and I want to be there for them to celebrate it with. Keep in mind they go to sleep around 8 to 9 p.m., so I tend to have a few hours to myself afterwards, being a night owl and all. So I decided that since they have internet and gave me permission to use it, I'd open my Steam account and play some Superdimension Neptune and finish the grind for the medals and baseballs, most possibly the single most evil achievements to hunt ever for achievement hunters. That being said, due to how the achievements were structured, I got to play the game for a couple of days. I made a shocking discovery, a discovery that I felt reinvigorated for the Neptunia series after schlock games like Ninja Wars and severe fandom issues when discussing previously mentioned Ninja Wars, Neptunia Virtual Stars, and the like. Since I did not peruse Twitter much while at my grandparents', I got my intimate time with the game and I got to remember why I loved the series to begin with. It's like reconnecting with your first OG waifu and why you fell for her to begin with. It starts with the beginning of my journey, Rebirth 1. What stood out to me so well after Lost Pauses videos had me try it out, after buying my Vita and PS3 from my buddy K. Kyle for $150, who to this day feels ripped off, which is not my fault because he's the one who offered the price to me to begin with. About the game from the outset is that it held nothing back when I first met it. Yes, you will cringe about this because it's so cliche. The CG with Compa bandaging Neptune. This stood out to me in a number of ways. A. It appealed to one of my favorite subgenres of anime period, girls love / yuri. B. It had bright colors and a positive vibe and tone. It was comedic, and not like it is nowadays with nothing but dumb references. It had situational humor and satirical humor, though most would not observe it because, fuck it, I won't get into fandom expectations. C. It had a charming soundtrack, fun mechanics I could repeat for hours. D. Most importantly, it had a vibrant, beautiful world that someone with an inherently negative life needed so very badly at the time. E. And ultimately, the love for this series gave me something I never knew I wanted at the time. Camaraderie. As for why Superdimension Neptune reminded me of this, is that it felt like Ayaf's entire character arc was reminiscent of my own. Very negative and fatalistic, albeit hers is probably less informed by negative events like yours truly. It felt cathartic to traverse this world, and seeing Ayaf's journey through different events, plus interesting story beats like history being erased by a fascinating creature and force of nature like the Time Eater. It's a wild ride with 3 different endings, and seeing Ayaf's growth and how wonderful and positive an influence that Sega me is on it just was an endearing dynamic that not even Neptune could ruin. And fun fact, Neptune doesn't even try to ruin the mood. And fun fact, she can meta break without it distracting and detracting from the story and plot. A revolutionary concept in this day and age, I know. And a big part of that is her role in the story, since she's treated as a supporting side character instead of the main. And honestly, I prefer her that way. Bike Nep is best Nep, and you can't change my mind. The Bokeh and Sukomi dynamic they have is fantastic. And they both know what the fans like, because in a self-aware moment, note how much people would make snapshots out of lewd dialogue. They even make Plutia seem dangerous and sadistic for once. Which means whomever wrote the spin-off noted the mistakes of Victory/Rebirth 3. The only weaknesses I have seen is how Dreamcast and Mega Drive have been written. Then it's a fair trade-off when you realize how broken and OP both Dreamcast and Sega's version of Dreamcast are in gameplay. Speaking of which, Delphinus is an absurdly difficult super boss, who, by the way, is going to be a subject for a personal pitch for a mini-series I have planned where I pitch different Neptunia story ideas that I have. Lastly, I already mentioned the Time Eater in a previous video, in a character compendium, if you will. The setting is fantastic. The themes and commentary are intelligent and insightful. The journey of improving Io's jaded mentality is cathartic, and the cast is quite colorful, and quite frankly, some people hate Segami, but for me, she's not only adorable, but also vital and integral to what makes the setting great. Her mission and purpose. Her mission is to defeat and destroy the Time Eater and restore history. Her purpose as a character is to contrast Io's negativity with a boisterous and assertive mentality that always pushes the both of them further. Shippers, eat your hearts out, because ultimately, in Superdimension Neptune, love prevails over darkness, hunger, and ultimately, cynicism. Thank you for watching. You know my socials already. And just remember that my will is absolute.
I paid my dues. I want what's owed to me.